The year is 1640, a time of great turmoil and change in the Iberian Peninsula. For 60 long years, the Portuguese people lived under Spanish rule. Their culture, their identity, and their sovereignty were overshadowed by the dominance of their neighbors. The once proud nation, known for its explorers and maritime prowess, found itself in a state of subjugation. Their country, once a leader in exploration, was pushed to the side. The golden age of discovery, marked by figures like Vasco da Gama and Ferdinand Magellan, seemed like a distant memory. But change was coming. The spirit of the Portuguese people had not been extinguished. On December 1st, a new chapter began. A spark of hope ignited the hearts of the Portuguese. The Restoration War, as it would come to be known, was about to commence. This was not just a political movement, it was a resurgence of national pride and identity. John, Duke of Braganza, listened to his people and became King John IV of Portugal. He was a man of integrity and vision who understood the weight of the responsibility placed upon him. His coronation was not just a ceremony, it was a symbol of the rebirth of a nation. He wasn't looking for power, but he felt it was his duty to act. John IV was a reluctant leader, but his sense of duty and love for his country compelled him to take the throne. He knew that the road ahead would be fraught with challenges, but he was prepared to face them head-on. He understood his people's desire for freedom. The Portuguese had endured decades of oppression, and their yearning for independence was palpable. John IV's leadership was a beacon of hope for a nation ready to reclaim its place in the world. He knew it would be difficult, but he also knew that Portugal was ready to fight back. The Restoration War was not just a battle for territory, it was a fight for the soul of a nation. The Portuguese people, united under their new king, were determined to restore their independence and dignity. The dawn of a new era had truly begun. Since 1580, the Portuguese had been unhappy under Spanish rule. Their culture and identity were being swallowed by their larger neighbor. Spain's enemies became Portugal's enemies, forcing them into costly wars. Spanish taxes hurt Portuguese businesses. The Portuguese nobility lost their power. Even religious differences caused tension. The unhappiness of the Portuguese grew stronger each day. When John IV became king, he started a war with Spain to free Portugal. The Spanish fought hard to keep Portugal under their control, but they didn't realize how determined the Portuguese people were. All across the country, people joined the fight. They used any weapon they could find, swords, muskets, even tools from their farms. They were ready to fight for their homeland. The war lasted for 28 years and was full of fierce battle. This conflict, known as the Portuguese Restoration War, was a struggle for independence from Spanish rule. It began in 1640 and continued until 1668. Involving numerous skirmishes and significant battles that shaped the future of Portugal. One important battle took place in Montijo in 1644. This battle was crucial because it marked a significant victory for the Portuguese forces. The Spanish, confident in their superior numbers and resources, underestimated the determination and strategic prowess of the Portuguese. The Portuguese army, though smaller, defeated a Spanish army trying to capture Lisbon. This victory was not just a military success, but also a morale booster for the Portuguese people. It demonstrated that with courage and clever tactics, they could stand up to the might of the Spanish Empire. This victory shocked everyone and showed that the Portuguese were strong. The news of the triumph spread quickly, igniting a sense of national pride and unity among the Portuguese. It was a turning point that inspired further resistance and bolstered the resolve of the Portuguese to fight for their freedom. Years later, at the Lines of Elvas in 1659, the Portuguese, helped by their English allies, stopped a huge Spanish attack. This battle was another critical moment in the war, showcasing the importance of alliances and the strategic brilliance of the Portuguese commanders. The Battle of the Lines of Elvas was a turning point. It was a decisive victory that not only halted the Spanish advance, but also demonstrated the effectiveness of the Portuguese and their allies working together. The success at Elvas was a testament to the resilience and fighting spirit of the Portuguese people. It proved that the Spanish could be defeated and gave hope to the Portuguese. The victory at Elvas was celebrated throughout Portugal, reinforcing the belief that Independence was within reach. This battle, along with others, played a crucial role in the eventual success of the Portuguese Restoration War, securing Portugal's sovereignty and shaping its future as an independent nation. King John IV knew Portugal couldn't win against Spain alone, so he looked for help from other countries. England, hoping to weaken Spain, became a strong ally. This renewed the old friendship between England and Portugal. John IV also got support from France and the Dutch Republic, who were also fighting against Spain. These alliances gave Portugal the money and soldiers they needed to keep fighting. John IV's skill in making friends proved as important as winning battles. With the war going on, John IV focused on making Portugal stronger. He improved the army and navy. He built new forts and made old ones stronger, making it harder for Spain to attack. He also knew that a strong economy was important for war. He helped businesses grow, so Portugal would rely less on other countries. These changes were tough on the Portuguese people, but they knew they had to make sacrifices for their freedom. Even during the war, John IV supported the arts. He was a musician and composer himself and believed that music could help people during hard times. He helped musicians, artists and writers, leading to a rebirth of culture in Portugal. His court became a place of art and learning, a bright spot in a Europe at war. John IV knew that art and culture were important for national pride and unity. John IV died in 1656, but he changed Portugal forever. He inherited a country that was controlled by Spain and weakened by war. But his leadership, determination and belief in his people started a movement that would make Portugal free again. He started a new royal family, the House of Braganza, which would rule for centuries. He brought the Portuguese people together and made them proud of their country. And most importantly, he won Portugal's independence, ensuring that they would never be ruled by another country again. Even after his death, John IV's impact was felt in Portugal and Europe. His reign marked a significant turning point in Portuguese history as he successfully restored the country's independence from Spanish rule. This period, known as the Portuguese Restoration War, was a time of great struggle and sacrifice for the Portuguese people. John IV's leadership and determination were instrumental in achieving this victory, and his legacy continued to shape the nation's future. His daughter Catherine of Braganza married King Charles II of England, making the alliance between the two countries stronger. This marriage was not just a union of two individuals, but a strategic alliance that had far-reaching implications for both nations. Catherine brought with her a dowry that included the port cities of Tangier and Bombay, which significantly enhanced England's naval and trading capabilities. Her presence in the English court also introduced Portuguese customs and culture, further intertwining the histories of the two nations. This also introduced tea to England, which would become a beloved drink there. Catherine's influence on English society was profound, and her introduction of tea drinking became a fashionable pastime among the English aristocracy. Over time, tea became an integral part of British culture, symbolizing hospitality and social interaction. The simple act of drinking tea, which Catherine popularized, would go on to have a lasting impact on British traditions and daily life. In 1668, 12 years after John IV's death, the Treaty of Lisbon officially recognized Portugal's independence. This treaty was a monumental achievement, as it marked the end of decades of conflict and uncertainty. The recognition of Portugal's sovereignty by Spain and other European powers was a testament to the resilience and determination of the Portuguese people. The Treaty of Lisbon not only secured Portugal's independence, but also laid the foundation for its future growth and prosperity. This treaty was a result of the sacrifices made by John IV and the Portuguese people. The struggle for independence was marked by numerous battles and hardships, but the unwavering spirit of the Portuguese people ultimately prevailed. John IV's vision and leadership were crucial in guiding the nation through this tumultuous period. His efforts ensured that Portugal could emerge from the conflict as a strong and independent nation, ready to reclaim its place on the world stage. It ended a difficult period in their history and allowed them to rebuild and become a leading nation in Europe once again. The post-war period saw significant efforts to rebuild the nation's infrastructure and economy. Lisbon, the capital, underwent extensive reconstruction and new trade routes were established, boosting commerce and industry. The resilience and determination of the Portuguese people during this time were remarkable, and their efforts laid the groundwork for a period of renewed growth and prosperity. John IV's enduring impact was felt not only in his lifetime, but for generations to come as Portugal continued to thrive and evolve.